Hey guys, welcome back to the This Is All Skate Shop YouTube channel. I'm Ivo, and in this video I will tell you what ways there are to store your skates at home. I made a Facebook post for this. I actually still like Facebook, got a ton of responses from different people, and it turns out there's a few different categories of ways to approach this, and I'll go through all of them to hopefully inspire you to take better care of your own skates at your own home. Well, the first option is my friend Jaro and my friend Michael there. They just throw their skates in the corner of their home. It's also possible. I've also done this, of course. We've all done this. If you take this approach to your skate storage, make sure you put your tongue in your skate. I actually really like that. If the tongue's sticking out, it feels kind of like a sacrilege. I think that's the right word in English. The tongue should just be in the skate, and if it's not, then it just looks a little bit wrong for me. Of course, we are here in the This Is All Skate Shop right now in Amsterdam. We also have a store in Berlin, and what you see here in our store here in Amsterdam is that the skates hang on a chain. So most skates have this little cord here, and if you just take a little S-hook, let me show you, you can just hang the skates anywhere in your home. So just you can buy these at Ikea or at any hardware store, and just hang your skates on the wall, on something, make it your own chain at home. That's also possible. Then if you look over there, you see that the skates are hanging on an even bigger S-hook, and they are hooked behind the buckle. And because they're hooked behind the buckle, they all sit at the same height, about the same height. It looks kind of nice like that. It also looks kind of nice if you hang it on the skate carry. Here's one of those hooks. This is how you do it. It's best not to do it just behind the buckle here, but even behind the flaps that sit underneath the buckle, the cuff flaps, so that it sits like this. These are two options that we use here. Another nice way to do it is if you take the laces like this and you just tie a knot in it like that. You can hang the skates on anything. So just put a nail in your wall, for example, or I don't know, just anywhere you want. Anywhere there's something sticking out, you can instantly put your skates there. And also like to carry my skates like this. Just throw them over my shoulders and have them like this. I'm sitting on my bike like this with my skates here. So this is a really nice way to both carry your skates and store them. Like, it looks beautiful. If you just imagine your living room, you have your couch, and then above your couch as like a decoration, it sits your skates hanging like this. I think it's cool. One other way to do it is just to keep the skates in the box forever and take them out of the box, of course, when you want to use them. And the boxes make it so that you can store the skates nicely as well. We do this, of course, in our warehouse, so it works perfectly there. I've never seen somebody use this at their home though, but maybe it's a good idea. We have rental skates here in the shop as well, and for the rental skates we have different options because there are so many rental skates and they just sit in the back, so we don't have them in boxes, we don't have them with the S-hooks, but they are on a shelf. And if you want to put skates on a shelf, then it's best to put some bars on it that prevent them from rolling. Otherwise you'll get like a really messy shelf really quickly and the skates just roll off after a certain while. That's my tip for you. If you're gonna do the shelf approach, put some small bars on it, and that will make it that it sits more stable. Or you can just put them on the ground like my friend Alexander Linde. Of course people throw them on the ground, but he actually stores it really nicely and they sit perfectly next to his bed. It's also a really nice racers collection. One other friend of mine who has a really nice collection is Arvid Wiegerink. He uses the shelf approach. He has cabinets and he has them turned against the wall, so they sit against the wall. And that also is the nice side view. The skates kind of like look best from the side often. Yeah, that looks really well, and the wall kind of like makes it sit stable a little bit. I think it would still be better if he put some small bars or some stuff so that the skates are prevented from rolling. The rolling effect that I'm talking about is less if you only have one skate up against the wall instead of like a pair of skates. Matt Berenger responded to the Facebook question that I did, and that's what he did. And Stephen Badger also replied, and he put some like a piece of plywood underneath the groove of the skate to make it sit so that they don't roll. So that's also a really smart solution. You can put the bar between like the wheels, of course, but if you have aggressive skates, then you also have like a nice groover in the middle, and a nice thick piece of plywood would fit there perfectly. So that make it really stable. Then Ikea has some famous cabinets where the pockets are kind of square, and I think the distance is probably like 40 centimeters or so in width and in height as well. So it's perfect for a pair of skates. So many people bought those cabinets, and you can find them anywhere. So people use them, of course, also for skates. And the nice thing is that because it's like confined square, that they cannot really roll somewhere. So you can just put your skates in there. You don't need like a bar to set them on. Yeah, and a couple of people replied to the Facebook post as well and showed their setup with this. Stuart Dean, for example, he makes it like this. Then my friend Luca Gobbo also has something similar where the skates just sit to the side of his cabinet. And also my friend Jonathan Mendoza, he also uses kind of like it's called the Felix Ikea cabinet, where you have the sides of the cabinet to prevent the wheels from rolling. It's also nice that in those extra squares you can then also put all your other skate gear, like wax or extra wheels or some other protection, for example. Another way to prevent them from rolling is with skate stands. Here's a couple. These are two old ones that we just happen to have. And these are two that we actually have for sale right now. It's the micro one and the power slide one. And then there's one more that will be in stock again next week. And that's one from FR. So there's 3 options on the market right now. And they all work a little bit differently. But let me show you. This one is really nice. It sits like this. This one from Power Slide has a really small opening, so it doesn't work as good. It also falls a little bit. The micro one works, but it sits a little bit in an angle. You see that? So it's stable, but maybe in the middle it's even better. Yeah. So it sits, but it's a little bit to the side. And the Power Slide one here is really solid and straight. So probably out of the ones that we have here, the Power Slide one would be better than the micro one, I think. But the FR one we also have, and I think that one's also really decent. So in the end, they will all work. I do have one tip if you want to use a skate stand like that. I would encourage you to find a way to glue them on your cabinet, because it's nice if they just sit there and you're done after a day of skating and you can just like put the skates in and then they stand nicely. But then after sleeping and whatever, you want to go skate again the next day and you want to get them out of the skate stand, but then you lift up the skate stand as well. So if you have the skate stand glued or screwed to the cabinet or the shelf where it's on, then you don't have that problem. You can just take your skate off and it's a lot easier. The cool thing about using skate stands is at least anybody I found using them has their skates on display really nicely. Like Steven Medland sent me his photo and it looks just really cool. Also, it's a great collection. And Yuri van der Pol also sent his collection, and he also uses the skate stands. And it's a cool collection, of course, but it looks really nice. It's also cool to see some of the history pieces there, like the crank strap, but also, of course, the photo from Edwin. We talked about cabinets, we talked about just shelves, we talked about skate stands, but there's one final way to do it, and that's with a sloth. That's maybe the best way, but it's just a lot of work to set it up. We built a skate cart, which we use for rental. So if you have like a big event or something, we can pull this cart to the location and use it to take out the rentals and put back shoes of people in it. It took a lot of work to build it, of course. I'm happy that we have it now, so it's worth the investment in the end. If you have nice slots where the frame sits in between, then it's really easy to just put the skates in and out. James D.F., he found a cool way to make sloths, which is not so much trouble. It was at least a lot easier than our skate cart that I built. He just took some pieces of plywood, saw them off, and he uses it for aggressive skates. So aggressive skates have, of course, a nice sole plate, and they sit perfectly underneath the sole plate. So these pieces of plywood, they just hold the skate straight. So I think this is a really smart, nice solution. Good job, James. And then the last one that uses also kind of like a way of a sloth really innovatively is Bas Bavink. Bas is one of our riders. He is flow skating, and you see his setup here sitting inside another frame. So he put a frame, I think with screws, on a shelf, and then because the width of the wheels in that frame and the width of the wheels on his skate are of course the same width, the wheels just kind of like slide into that other frame. An old frame makes in that way a perfect skate stand. Who would have thought? I think it's really innovative, and it also looks really nice in his house like that, as kind of like a decoration. In the end, I want people to be proud of their skates. So any way that you can store skates where it's shown in a nice way, that maybe if you have people over that they can see your collection, and that it's kind of like maybe like an art piece in your house, like Bas's way of displaying his skates is really central in his house. And anything that we can do to show that to people that we're proud of our sport is a good thing, right? So if you have a good way that I didn't show in this video, please drop that in the comments so that we can learn from each other and find even more ways to showcase our skates nicely in our own homes and be proud of them. Thank you for listening to this story about storing skates. If you like content like this, we make a new video every week. So consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.